So in the previous video I showed how to open an original Xbox. In particular, this original Xbox, which I call the Con Box. This one actually goes to conventions with me from time to time when I do decide to take an Xbox, to conventions for people to play in the game room. And it's not bad. I picked it up for dirt cheap right as it came into a store. They bought it and I bought it right from them right when it happened because this baby's got a mod chip. I believe it's an Executor 2, if memory serves. Now, I'm not too familiar with the modding scene on Xboxes, at least the hard modding scene. That was sort of before my time of being interested in the Xboxes. But there's the actual mod chip itself. Like I said, I believe Executor 2. I believe the 512 megabyte memory banks, 2 of them. And the cables that head to the front control board. More cables that head to this I/O connector and to these control ports, and God, wiring harnesses and stuff are crazy in these things. And you got some hot glue down there to hold down these cables, which go to all kinds of pins. This is why I don't hard mod. If I can't do it in software, I just don't bother. Plus, I'm not exactly a big fan of modding systems on a whole. I prefer them to stay as original as possible. But, you know, where applicable, like with the original Xbox, it's actually more enjoyable to have a modded system. But I just kind of wanted to show what the insides of one of these things looked like when it was modded. This sets under the optical drive. Hard drive, of course, sets over here. And also, since this is, I believe, a version 1.4, just wanted to show some of the differences, like how there's no power connector for the GPU heatsink. That heatsink is just a standard open one. There's a CPU heatsink. There's the system fan. Power supply is what it is. Uses this type of connector. More standardized one. There's the slots where extra RAM would go if this had the 128 megabyte mod. Otherwise, there's the normal system memory. The actual, I believe the north bridge of it. Not 100%. And yeah. The original Xbox is a pretty nice little system when you really think about it. And for comparison's sake, here's an Xbox 360, which actually sets inside of its footprint if you compare. So there's your 360 backwards. There's your original Xbox. So let me actually turn that around. For comparison's sake, you can see they were running with sort of a similar design as the base. And they went with the external power supply because this motherboard was so much bigger. Which is just interesting. You'd think this would be a more efficient design than this, but yeah, clearly the original Xbox was actually a superior piece of construction. At least for what it was. This thing certainly doesn't run near as hot as this system does. I mean, you gotta give credit. Even back in the day, I gave credit of the fact that they crammed such rather powerful hardware into such a small space in 2005, but the effects of which showed. You can see the dust pretty clearly right there from when this thing was in use. This is the banned one, so don't worry. It can sit there open forever. This one, however, this one runs real nice. Quite fond of it. Don't use it too often, as I've said before, but it's cool to have a hard modded Xbox. The one thing about it that I don't like is on the controls on here, you have enable and disable for the mod chip itself, protect and unprotect for the memory banks, and bank 1 and bank 2. I think the bank switch is broken, and protect and unprotect, if you unprotect it, it seems to reset the system memory completely, like as far as the mod chip is concerned, so yeah, that's never fun. So basically, I can only flash it with one BIOS, and that's that. Normally what you'd do, if memory serves, you'd use a stock kernel BIOS for when you were going on Xbox Live, and when you were just going to play local or play something modded, you would use the custom BIOS. So it is what it is. It all doesn't matter now, with Xbox Live being closed down for the original machine back in 2010. But you know, you can still play online via Xlink Kai and other services, and the games on the system are still good. Depending on the games, their best versions might very well be on the Xbox. So, you know, If you have the opportunity to get one, never turn it down, because I really, really enjoy the console. That's all for my ranting on this video. Thanks for watching. Catch everyone next time.